College English Test, Band 4, Part 2, Listening Comprehension, Section A. Directions. In this section, you will hear 3 news reports. At the end of each news report, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. Both the news report and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center.
News Report 1. A device that weighs less than 1 kilogram is part of a mission that will allow scientists to deliver 4th generation, or 4G, mobile coverage to the moon in 2019. If successful, the tiny device will provide the moon with its first ever mobile phone network. The lunar network will support high-definition streaming of video and data between the moon and Earth. The network is part of Mission to the Moon. This is a project with the goal of landing the first privately paid-for mission to the moon. The 4G mission is set to launch from Cape Canaveral in the United States on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket in 2019. Mission to the Moon intends to establish and test the first elements of a communications network on the moon. The scientists working on the project opted to build a 4G rather than a 5th generation or 5G network. This is because 5th generation networks are still in testing and trial phases. This means that a 5G network may not yet be stable enough to work on the moon's surface.
Questions 1 and 2 are based on the news report you have just heard. Question 1. What are scientists planning to do? Question 2. Why did scientists choose to set up a 4G network in their mission? News Report 2. Firefighters responded to a fire Wednesday night at an abandoned mall in Hayward. The fire was reported at 9:26 p.m. at an old shopping centre on Mission Avenue near St Mary's Church. 6 fire engines, 2 trucks and 2 chiefs responded to the scene. Crews had the fire under control in about 45 minutes and managed to contain the fire to its point of origin. There were some people inside the building when the fire broke out, but there were no reports of any injuries. Fire investigators have responded to the scene, but have not yet determined the cause of the fire. Firefighters will remain on the scene until later this morning to ensure that the fire doesn't start up again. The shopping mall had not been in use since 2002. In 2014, City Hall developed a plan to knock down the building and replace it with affordable housing. However, the plan was dropped due to lack of funds.
Questions 3 and 4 are based on the news report you have just heard. Question 3. What does the news item say about the fire? Question 4. What had City Hall planned to do? News Report 3. Potato chips in Japan are being sold for 6 times their normal price. This is after the country's main manufacturer stopped sales due to a potato shortage. Storms and floods in its main potato growing region last year caused the worst harvest in more than 3 decades. Local media reports suggest Calbee and its main rival, Koikiya, are halting almost 50 products. We don't know when we'll be able to restart, a company spokesman said. Snack lovers are panic buying, and many supermarket shelves are bare. Japanese laws limit the amount of imported potatoes that can be used in Japanese-made products. Japan says fear of disease is its main reason to block fresh imports. It still only allows potatoes from selected U.S. states. This is only at certain times and on condition that they are processed at factories based near Japanese ports. But global warming has raised the possibility that domestic produce could be seriously affected by rare weather events more often.
Questions 5 to 7 are based on the news report you have just heard. Question 5. What problem is Japan facing? Question 6. Why does Japan limit the import of potatoes? Question 7. What might affect Japanese domestic produce?
Section B. Directions. In this section, you will hear 2 long conversations. At the end of each conversation, you will hear 4 questions. Both the conversation and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center.
Conversation 1.
Mr. Brown's lectures are so boring.
Yes, he is not a very exciting speaker, but the subject is interesting.
During every one of his lectures, I try to listen. I really try. But after about 10 minutes, my mind begins to wander and I lose concentration. But I see that you seem to be okay. How do you stay focused through the entire hour?
Well, what I do is keep my pen moving.
What do you mean?
It's a method of active concentration I read about. One of the most effective ways to concentrate is to write things down. But it has to be done by hand, not typing on a keyboard. You see, writing by hand forces you to actually engage with what you're learning in a more physical way.
Do you review your notes afterwards then?
Sometimes, but that's not important. My notes may or may not be useful, but the point is that by writing down what Mr. Brown says, I can follow his line of thinking more easily. In fact, sometimes I draw a little too.
You draw in class? And that helps you pay attention?
Yes, honestly, it works for me. I just draw little lines and nonsense, really. It was also in that article I read. It can keep the mind active, prevent getting bored, and help to concentrate. Again, the point is to listen hard while keeping the pen moving. If I'm at home and I need to study, what I do is read out loud. It has a similar effect to writing by hand. It helps memorize information in a physical way.
Questions 8 to 11 are based on the conversation you have just heard. Question 8. What does the man think of Mr. Brown's lectures? Question 9. What does the woman do during Mr. Brown's lectures? Question 10. Why does the woman draw in class? Question 11. What does the woman say about reading out loud?
Conversation 2.
And where's this?
These photos are from the Taj Mahal in India. We went there about 10 years ago for our honeymoon.
Was it romantic?
Yeah, the Taj Mahal was a very romantic place. The guide told us there is a famous love story behind this building that all Indians learn in school. I think it was during the 1600s, and the princess at the time died while giving birth to her 14th child. The emperor loved the princess so much and was so sad when she died that he ordered the palace to be built in her honor.
Wow, that sounds very romantic. It looks amazing.
Yes, it's gorgeous. It's also larger in real life than it looks in the photos. The building is very tall, and there are gardens and a wall around it all. It's all built in this white stone, and some walls of the building are decorated with jewels.
It must have been very crowded when you were there.
Yes, it's a very famous tourist destination, so there are thousands of visitors every day.
Was the rest of India crowded?
Yes, very crowded in many cities. It was sometimes so crowded that it was difficult to walk along the streets, especially through busy markets. And there are so many cars. Traffic was terrible, but the people are friendly, the culture is amazing, and we had a great time.
What about the food?
Indian food is great. There are lots of different dishes to try, and every region has its own special food.
Questions 12 to 15 are based on the conversation you have just heard. Question 12. For what purpose did the woman go to India? Question 13. Why was the Taj Mahal built? Question 14. What does the woman say about the Taj Mahal? Question 15. What is the woman's impression of Indian cities?